Okay, so I wanted to make a real quick video because I'm now in Binghamton visiting a friend that I hadn't seen in many, many years. And as I was driving up here to Binghamton, I had to take Route 81. And I had driven past an area that just brought back so many memories of my first actual, God miracle. And it was a sad story, but a great story. So it starts out a little funky, but I promise it gets great. So it is Christmas Eve, 1988. And what I'm about to share with you, I just want you to understand that this is no fault to my son's father, because I got pregnant very young. I was 19. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't 19. Forgive me. I was 22, I think. And I was 23 when I got pregnant with Jeremy. And he was, 1 year out from graduating college. And so me getting pregnant while on the pill kind of put a peg in his wheel. And we all know at that age, we're stupid. We make decisions because we're scared. We make decisions because we're immature, But at this particular time, it was, as I said, it was Christmas Eve, 1988. I had just given my life to the Lord a few months back in July. So I'm just a baby Christian. And the father of my child is leaving me. He decided that, because of the way the world trains our minds, money for an abortion, sign for an adoption, I keep him, he's mine kind of situation, and we battled back and forth, this is what you want, it's not what I want, blah, 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 all is well now, just so you know, the relationship between my son and his father is reconciled, and, but anyway, at the time, we were two scared puppies, and so I remember that Christmas Eve, I am 6 months pregnant, and we had just had our last, I think we went for breakfast, and it was our goodbyes. And his proclamation to me at that time was, I will never see you again. I'm leaving. You made this decision. I did it. And I'm going to go finish my schooling, yada, yada. And I remember him and I was following him, and I was getting ready to go home. And when I watched him make the right to head south on 81, I decided I was not ready to get, to go home. I was beyond distraught. You have no idea. That was the father of my son, the love of my life. I beyond loved that man, and anybody who knew us back then knew how much I loved him. And so here I am, this baby Christian, 6 months pregnant. My son's father just drove away, and I was screaming, crying on 81, heading north, punching my steering wheel, crying out to God. I was blinded by tears. I almost got hit by a couple of Mack trucks, 18-wheelers, because I couldn't even see. And, they're blowing their horns at me. And then at one point I almost hit a guardrail because I was crying so hard. And if you go back into the annals of time to 1988, December 24th, and you check the weather for that day, you'll find that a huge winter storm was in our area. We had not seen the sun in a day or so. And so there was no sun, there was no nothing. Deep cumulus clouds as black as you can imagine, and it was just a disaster in regards to the weather. And a big storm was supposed to hit that night. I probably shouldn't even have been on the road that morning. I should have been home hunkering down. But anyway, so I'm driving down. I was driving 81 North, and as I said, distraught as you could ever imagine, crying. I had no words. I was moaning and groaning in the pain of just that type of a situation back then. He was leaving. I was going to be a single mother, blah, blah, blah. So all of a sudden, as I'm driving, I'm screaming, crying, still punching my steering wheel. All of a sudden, my car fills up, like this golden light is coming through all my windows. And I'm like looking around my car thinking, where is this light coming from? Because I'm looking ahead and I see all the cumulus clouds. I look to the right because it's kind of overseeing this valley, and I could see as far as the eye can see to the next mountain. Cumulus clouds. I look to the left. Cumulus clouds. I'm looking in my rearview mirror at the highway behind me and the skyline. cumulus clouds, anyway. So I'm like, what? And it was almost like this warmth that I can't even describe. So anyway, so I pull over to the side of the road because I'm trying to figure out what is going on. So then I like kind of lean forward in my car and I start looking up at the sky, and out of the sky, this little itty bitty hole is this ray of light, and it's only on my car. It's only on my car. It was like, and I remember looking up, and it was like, and looking around in my car, it was the most miraculous thing to this day that I have ever seen God do. Because at that very moment, I didn't know what it was at the time. I found out years later that this had happened to other people. But it was like liquid love. This warmth came over the crown of my head. It flowed through my entire body. And it was like light illuminated me. And all my tears just gone. And I never shed another tear over that man or that situation from that day forward. And so I just, when I drove by that place, it had been many, many years since I had driven by there. And just to see, I mean, it's all kind of grown in. That was almost 30 years ago, so it's kind of hard to see the valley that I had looked into on that day. But it was just like the Lord just bringing that back to my remembrance. Remember that day, Marita, when I revealed my love to you? It was so tangible, but yet you couldn't see it. It was so physical, yet you couldn't feel it. It was just him in all of his glory, touching a young girl that was just devastated. And I never looked back from that day forward. I know he's real. I know he's real. And he loves me. And he loves you. And he may not open a hole in the clouds and pour out a ray of sunshine on you, but I can promise you that he hears every prayer. He sees every circumstance. And he is the God who goes before us, and he fights for us. And he cares for us. I mean, my son is going to be 28 years old next year, and I've just watched the Lord from that day until now provide. I have learned many times over his faithfulness, his goodness, his kindness, his love, his grace, his mercy. I've just learned to just let him love me and take care of me. Took a lot of bucking and kicking and screaming because I'm a very independent survivalist. But I have learned that my Father is bigger than me. My Heavenly Father, faithful. I want you to know that. Faithful. Have a great day, everybody.